Good day, everyone, and thank you for being here today with ProQuality community. My name is Vyacheslav, and today we proceed with our series of enlightening events on mobile testing. If you were not able to join our previous two events about mobile testing, where we discussed web automation, mobile web automation, and native mobile automation, don't worry. You can find the links in the description of this YouTube video. And today we will be talking about Mobitru platform and an innovative cloud solution tailored the streamline to streamline and simplify workflows for developers. And I'm delighted to see Sergey join us today. I should say that Sergey is not just an integral part of his project, leading the entire test automation team and processes, but also lends his expertise to many processes and consults new clients. Sergey, we are delighted to see you here again in our ProQuality community.
Hi guys, glad to see you also here.
I'm curious, what sparked the idea to present Mobitru platform as a tool, not just for QAs, but also very useful tool for developers?
It's an interesting question, especially for the beginning, because a lot of people just believe that any kind of mobile platform or a cloud it's just for verifying something, quickly install an app, then check that no crash and perform some manual interactions, get a result or export a report, and after that, that's all. But on my presentation, I will show how one interesting platform can really make developers' life easier. And by developers, I understand not only app developers, but test developers only. Also, because both of them just focus on code. Both of them like to write it. Both of these groups of professionals understand how the code works and can debug it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer. And it looks like today's session will be full of insights, and we will have a demo part as well. So we are all looking forward to it. And dear audience, please feel free to ask your questions via our YouTube chat. You can also use for asking question our via community platform if you use it to watch us, and we will address all the questions in the end of the session to our dear speaker. Without further ado, let's dive in, and over to you, Sergey. Let's get started.
Okay, guys, hello again. And as I said before, today I will tell about one interesting real device cloud and how it can make developers' life easier. Few words about me. I'm Sergey, yeah, obviously, and as you can see, I'm working long time in test automation area, primarily on Java, but with some experience in Python and Swift, because actually I native frameworks for iOS. During all of this time, I worked on very different kind of test automation solutions and projects for all UI interfaces, mobile, web, and desktop. At the current moment, I'm responsible for test automation area and the development in Mobitru, which is real device cloud when people can run their tests or just perform particular actions on real devices connected remotely. Okay, here is our agenda now. As you can see, I will provide the initial information about Mobitru's value for developers, and then I will show how it looks in details, including live demo sessions, schemas, and some comparison information, which is interesting. So let's start from the general information. On the slide, as you can see, answers on very simple and basic questions regarding Mobitru. In addition, I want to add that we accessible from the internet. It means you don't need to have some special VPN or network configuration. Also, for EPAM employees, you don't even need to pass through registration because you can log in Mobitru using your EPAM account. And what is the good point? You will also have 500 free means every month for using our devices. Fine. Here is the brief overview of useful features which are available for both developers types. As you can see, there are different areas here related to device, capturing data, including performance metrics, execution, I mean executing tasks or maybe executing some particular scripts for devices, or also debug options. Some of them may look familiar. Some need an additional clarification. But anyway, soon I will show and explain main benefits from them and provide real example of usage. Also, here is the brief information regarding frameworks and tools where the Mobitru devices can be used. Some of them are industry standard now, like Appium or Espresso. Some are quite new and really promising, like Petrol or Vividus. In any case, I will show examples for most of them during my demo sessions. But let's start at first with some part which people usually may skip, but it is important. Here is the information how to start work if you're a test or app developer. Anyway, you will need to find and read some documents on our docs portal. Please start from this again, it's important. You can access them by these QR codes related to separate journeys. For test developers, it's more about how to run your tests, debug them on real devices, and capture appropriate artifacts like video recording. For app developers, it's about install and configure the Mobitru Connect, which is key tool to connect real device and operate them in your IDE. And let me just show how it usually looks. Here is our main site and two journeys. One related to automation. Okay, as you can see here, the most of documents related to test execution and of course troubleshooting. The second one journey related to developers tools. Yes, and here you see the tool which I mentioned, Mobitru Connect, which soon I will use in order to show how it can help with interacting with real devices. Okay, also, what is the very good point, and it's located in some other place, it's our API doc, because we have quite a lot public APIs for different kind of situations or features. And here you may see all of them with examples for different kind of cases. Okay. Let's switch back. Up. One more thing before I will start showing some practical cases. As you can see, we have a GitHub, and of course it's not empty. And what useful you may find here? Our team developed several demo applications related to most popular mobile area like e-commerce. All of them have similar functionality: login, list of products, add them to the cart, make an order, review the order state. But these projects just have different technology stack and cover most useful cases on the mobile market: native iOS, native Android, and Flutter. Also, every project includes an example of test automation for most popular frameworks. For iOS projects, just contains XUI test, Android Espresso, and for Flutter, I've developed Appium tests. And also, let me just show. Here's our GitHub. You see 3 kind of projects. That's very detailed documentation here in README. The overview of all features. Also, again, test automation, as I mentioned before, Appium for Flutter. And let's say for the iOS. XUI test here. And by the way, this is the thing which we as a platform also can provide to developers, because for many cases, especially for some RFP stages, it's necessary to just prepare a test execution or simple test execution, or just show it on some demo case. The real example, just show a real example where it's not only just simple application with one screen, but okay, the multiple screen interactions with several just entering data, with validating of incorrect data on particular fields and all of these things. And this is actually one of the benefit which we provide as a platform: this application, example of application, and the automation, which can be easily used on some initial phases, or in training, or in pre-sales, or any kind of such activities. Okay. So here's the first real case for test developers, and probably most popular, the Appium test execution. As you can see, we resolve 2 main troubles with such kind of execution. First of all, it's app management, because you cannot just tell your remote Appium server, take an APK or IPA file from my local machine and send it to remote Appium server, which is started somewhere, probably in the office or in some cloud. You need to download such application builds manually from somewhere, or create a separate script. Then upload it to the server with the Appium, and only after that start a session. In our case, you can just add an additional step to your build app pipeline and upload the build to our internal storage. After that, it's very easy to take and install the app using our API, which also documented. I showed it before. And by the way, in this case, you may ask to do these changes. I mean, uploading your file to our internal storage by some DevOps guys who are familiar with preparing pipelines or changing them. So in this case, you'll have more time to spend on automation, on your projects, on test development, sorry, yes, let's use this word. So you'll have more time on your regular activities rather than create some scripts or download manually and upload it to some servers, something like that. So second one issue related to Appium infrastructure. Because we have our own Appium hub, which supports Appium 1, Appium 2, and also several additional capabilities like keep device after close the Appium driver, which is very useful in case if you need to execute tasks more faster, which is a real point for Appium. Because usually people faces with many troubles with preparing Appium, especially in the CI, version managing, Appium version managing, resource monitoring, configuring servers for Appium. Also, don't forget about devices, which should be connected to Mac machine where the Appium started. Also, the USB port limitation and so on. It's quite number of troubles which you will need to resolve. But in our case, it's resolved on our side. Okay, and let me just show some real examples how tests can be executed. Okay, at first, let me just show how it can be executed in the CI. So I have my Jenkins with configured job execution. Let me just at first take my access key. I will remove it after the session. Okay, and what we will do here? First, I will execute tests on 3 devices at the current moment, simultaneously. Report result to some external reporting tool, like report portal, and let's execute it on iOS. Let's start it. What will you see here? So here is by the way, the Mobitru. Okay. Job is started. Soon the compilation. Soon you will see that 3 devices will be arranged, and I will be able to open anyone and just observe test execution. Also capture some additional logs. Let's start them executing. And again, as I mentioned before, it's real devices. There is no emulators on our platform. That's Java typical execution. And what I will also show here, during the test execution, I will also, here's the devices. I will also go to my IDE and try to debug Android Appium execution at the same time. Okay, let's just open some device. Yeah, you see here the execution. It's easy to check that it's Appium execution. You see here logs. Also, I can export them if necessary. The same related to system logs. I may record it, may not, may export. Also, the same thing for video recording. By the way, it can be again performed by API. Please read our docs. You see, recording will be soon. Then I can download it. Also, I can open some other execution and see how it happens. But let's take some additional things. Here's my IDE. And I will show at the same time tests are executing. And let me just start debug session for the same test, but this will be on Android device. So right now, what you will see, let me just make it like that. So I started the debug session. Soon you will see that, yeah, here's it, the Android device. And here you will see the same. Test started. Yes, test is here. And you see the username will be entered and password not, because we just verified some negative cases. Let me just continue. Yes. And you can interact with this. For example, I can, okay. I can enter something at the same time. Click some buttons, for example. Then switch again to the test and continue it. And there's almost nothing, no problem. There's almost nothing with the performance, okay? Let's close it. And let's switch back to our execution, which we started before. Yeah, the devices were released. And here is the execution, which is finished. And you can see local reports, less than 2 minutes, 42 test executions. You see that 3 devices mentioned here. And also let's check this in the report portal. The same here, 3 minutes ago start time. And then you see that start driver happened in the same second. So this is the real benefit in our platform, because we have no formal limitation for, of course, some plans. We have no formal limitation related to parallel device execution. So it means you can run your tests with 5-10 threads at the same time, and it will not cost you some enterprise license, for example, or things like that. Of course, for some plans, we have device slot limitations, but anyway, it's not mandatory in our case, and it is flexible and can be managed. Okay, let me just switch back here. Next one case is related to native frameworks. Here we resolve also 2 problems. First one is similar to the problem related to Appium, the app management, which we covered the same way. You just need to upload the app and instrumentation app to our internal cloud. After that, both of these, let's call it artifacts, will be able for using for execution. Second one is more interesting. We provide test execution infrastructure for native frameworks. It means you just need to take a device by API, and then you just start an execution by call other one API. All other actions will be performed on our side, which includes app installation, execution start, log capturing, etc. It's really helpful because you receive the same execution format for both platforms. Both platforms, I mean iOS and Android, and different kind of frameworks like Petrol, for example. Also, we support, mostly for Android, additional features for filtering tests and multi-threading execution. In case of native frameworks, it names sharding. Okay, let me show some examples for this case. I have my Postman collection. And let me just do this one. Let's take this one device in the Mobitru. That's Android. And as I mentioned, petrol, I will use execution for petrol. You see here. So here is the ID of uploaded application and instrumentation application. And this ID of these artifacts from our storage. And again, we have serial of the device. I manually started a session, but again, it can be performed by API. So let's start an execution. The status is pending. As you can see, we have two separate APIs for getting test execution state and downloading log of the execution. Okay, let's copy our ID of execution ID. As you can see, yeah, that everything performed here on our side. Application installed, test started, and also congratulations. Yes, you see. Let's just check the run state. It's complete. Complete means it's finished. So you may have some failed tasks, but the status will be again complete. Here is the ID of log. Okay, let's take it and see what we have here. Yeah, that's our tasks, main activity tasks, this one. And you may say, okay, this is one task from the official Patrol repository. Yes, of course. And let me show another example, but for iOS test execution. And this example will be related to our tasks, which I personally developed for our demo application. Let's release this. Take the iOS device. As you can see, here's the latest one iOS. I mean, latest one major version, of course. And the way is the same. As you can see here, the format is the same. It's just simple API where you just need to specify only IDs of uploaded applications. In case of iOS, we have one additional parameter which related to specific way of installation of app installation to iOS devices, because of course we need to resign your app in case if our devices are not in your development program. Anyway, let's start the execution. Let me just show. Yeah, as you can see, the installation started also. Again, let's copy the ID. And soon you will see that we install not only the app and but also test implementation app. Yeah, and test just started. You may say, okay, what is the black color here and why I don't see what's really typed? Then this is the one of things which we have in our demo applications. At the current moment, we don't support dark mode. And by the way, by this reason, we are open. Please, if you know how to fix it quickly, or you probably know because you're developers, but if you have a time or you just want to make this improvement, please just go to our GitHub, make these changes, open a merge request. Everything is described, and I personally will be really happy if people will do this. And by the way, during the execution, let's check the state. Yes. And as you can see, it's still pending while executing. And the state will be changed to complete directly after that. Of course, as you can see, it can be canceled, for example, by some timeout, for example, or if you just don't want to continue it by some reason. So we don't we don't push people to wait for the execution will be finished. And also, again, I may capture all of info. That's not Appium, guys. Yes. So the system logs and all of these things can be also captured during this test execution. Let's check the state again. Complete. Here is the log also. The same format for both platforms. It's very different platforms, frameworks, programming languages, but the same format of execution. And you see here there are a lot of cases. Yes, the 10 tests. We have 1.5 minutes. I took these tests from our GitHub, and the full pack, 34 tests, you can find here. I mean, in our GitHub. Okay, let's release this one device. Let me switch back here. Finally, the benefits for app developers. Here we cover many areas with the same tool, Mobitru Connect. It helps to receive it's wonderful thing, direct access to remote device in our cloud. After that, you will be able to operate with the device in any kind of IDE or platform or a tool. A lot of problems can be resolved with these, but let me just list some of them. First of all, it's debug issues on old or new devices with specific OS version, where people came and say, okay, it failed on my old one Android, but you don't have old one Android. You don't even have an Android device. So in this case, it's easy to receive the full information by connecting to remote device. Of course, you may say, okay, I can get some system logs or things like that, but it will take a time, and especially it will take a time to dive in these system logs. Second one, benefits verify new feature on different kind of real devices. And important for iOS, where is limited number of functions on simulator. For example, your application just work with cell phone components in the iOS, but there is no such components in simulators. There is no cell phone feature in simulators. So by this reason, if you will start your application, which will try to reach such components, it will be crashed. And in this case, yes, you may verify everything. It's kind of new feature on iOS, especially on OS, where there's a lot of supported OS versions. Also, of course, monitoring the app performance and logs. I mean, in the real time, and you don't need to just scroll in the huge log output and try to find, okay, what happened during performing some actions. Also, we have one important feature related to VPN and network connection. Let's imagine that you have a laptop with pre-installed VPN client and a custom login approach. Also, you have your own device, which looks like more, it's okay to use it, but you cannot install VPN client due to security or other reasons. And you might say, okay, we can use emulators. Yes. No, there is other way, at least not yet. You can start a local tunneling session using our tool, the same Mobitru Connect, and all network requests from your remote device will go through your laptop network. It means all resources which accessible from your machine will be accessible on remote devices placed in Mobitru. And let me show some examples for every platform and IDE. And let me just at first connect the Mobitru. Okay, the same way. That's just several parameters here. Let's just take some Android device at first. Oh, this one. And start a session. Oh, of course, we can do it manually. Or, sorry, by API. Okay, start a session. And what I have here, let's close this. Here is the Android Studio. And as you can see here, device automatically detected and added to the execution list. And let me just start a debug session. It's the same code base, our demo applications. And here I will start a debug session, and you will see that an app will be installed here, and I will be able on the lifetime just debug one of the feature of our demo app. And the feature is when you add some product to the cart, the add to cart button has to change its title from add to cart to added to cart, and then you can switch it back. I mean, just click the same button but with different title, and the product should be removed from the cart. And here is the logic implemented for cover this case, and it's also present in every of our code base. Yes, launching. The first time, actually, yeah, the one of the thing when you start something on the first time on the device which is freshly connected, it can be some process related to index or thing like that. So by this reason, it may take some time to launch, for example, an application. Okay. Let me just see how it goes. And of course, during this session, you may perform all of things which I mentioned before. Record video, for example, perform some interactions, change settings. By the way, we support full access to the application settings. So you may change not only just, for example, screen mode, but you may also change some network settings or install your VPN client or thing like that. Okay, wait some time. Yes, here is it. Wait. Okay, let me just reproduce the case. Probably some freezing related to my computer. Okay, and here is it. So I click a button, and here it's the execution stopped here. You see the state, so some variables. Other data again will be collected a little bit again longer because it's the first time for the first debug session, and some of them will be cached after that. Okay, step over. As you can see, it's loaded quicker. Okay, let's do the same. And again, it's stopped and it's added true. So you can debug all of such things. And here is Android Studio. Okay, let me just stop this one, stop my session, and now I will show you other one example for different IDE, totally different. Let's take an iOS device. Okay, which we can take. Let's take some 16.5 device. Oh, this one. Let's take this device. Connection approach is the same. I just specified start, and it's here. Then let's start the Xcode. Okay, it started on the different screen. Here is it. Let's run our project. Okay, again, it's started on different screen. And as you can see here, it's our iPhone, which connected by using the Mobitru. And here I will do the same. I will start a session for the same functionality and check the same debug points. Okay, let's just run it. Preparing to install. Okay. Installing. Of course, you may probably need to add our devices, in this case, to your development program. And I believe it should not be a problem, because in this case, you don't need to have your own devices. It will be not a problem for even some large projects. Okay, let's just have the same on the screen running. As I mentioned before, we have here performance characteristics, or metrics, as people may name it. The soon it will be there. I mean, the 0 is kind of initial values, and after starting an application, the all metrics will be here, and you will be able to look them or observe or monitor. Okay, the same case. Let me just click sign in. And then we'll see. Okay, that's loaded. Commands, demo case. Looks like it started. Everything finished. Okay. Let me just refresh. It's usual demo cases. Yeah, here is it. Okay, by the way, that's bad point. Let me just change the mode, and I will show you that even for iOS, we have access to all settings. So I can change to these, and also all other settings are here related to security or VPN. Also, Apple Pay. I have specific approaches for this one also. Mobitru. Yeah, you see. Let me just click. Okay, it will just stop here. On the breakpoint, yeah, that's here. And the case not added. So it means I just need to run it, and then it will be changed, of course, the same way. I click at the button. It will be here for case, yes, line 97. And also other options like model, you see here all the data, and all of these things will be here. The second time it's loaded faster again because of caching and all such kind of issues. So it was Xcode, and let me just show last one example. Okay, just let's close the Xcode. Next one example will be related to some different even IDE, because some of you may say, okay, it's official IDE, but I have, for example, a Flutter application. And what if I will need to run on it? Okay, let's take this one. And in Flutter, I don't use Android Studio or Xcode, obviously. Okay, here is the Visual Studio Code, Flutter code base. And let me just select my device. Oh, no, not yet. First, let me just connect. I connect the device, then I can the Flutter, I select it, and then let me just start debugging. So as you can see, I was able to select our device here, start an execution on our Pixel 7, and it will start it also in debug mode. And then here is my 3 breakpoints. And here it's the same functionality, but different IDE, different language, and at the same time, using our Mobitru Connect, you may operate with also with device and receive the same on locally on your machine. Of course, yes, for Flutter, some debug speed or thing like that, because it needs to collect a lot of info, and all of this info will be here, because for Flutter, it's not only just some code debug information, but also here it will be displayed some rendering information or things like that. And also for taking these, it costs a time. And by this reason, it can be some delays for such kind of interactions. I mean, especially for the first time, or for interacting with totally new device, which is not cached, or some information is not cached for them. But anyway, it's interactable. So I can start here, I can go to device, perform some actions, collect some info, in order if you just want to confirm something that, okay, it's my debug session, but I want to record some data and record some my user flow and send it in order to check something with, for example, your business analyst. Okay, you record something. So during debug or implementing new feature, you start screen recording, record something and send the video. And after that, you'll be able to receive your feedback. And then based on this, make a decision or change something, or prepare a merge request. Okay, here's it, our application. As I mentioned before, some widget inspector, all of these things are here. Okay, let me just click the same here. And here is it. It's continued here. Where's my debug? Okay, let's run it. Yeah, the product was added, the same case. That's here. Again, all debug info, like let's see what we have for products, the value, everything is here. Continue. Continue. Yes, remove the product. And here it is. So there were 3 IDE, different devices, and the same way of interacting with them on my local machine. Okay, the last one question, actually, or thing which I want to highlight, it's just maybe not last one. It's just why Mobitru, because as you can see here, we provide almost everything which related on the professional level to developer activities, test or app developers. So it means for your regular work, for most of developers projects, we have everything right now working and accessible from our internet. And also we have a lot of devices, 200 models at the current moment. And with all of this, with all of benefits which I mentioned before, yeah, I can say that's okay, that's very mature cloud solution which can be used and proposed, especially if you care about security or things like that. And one of the last point, yes, because I mentioned just few things on my previous slide, and you can receive a full information, or at least enough details on our new page, where we just described our features and little comparison report with features on available on clouds, on other clouds, and their plans. Because one of the key thing which you will find if you want to use some, for example, other clouds, that okay, some features are available, but only for enterprise level of plan, which is quite expensive sometimes. But if you will take some self-service plans, a lot of features will be not available or limited. And by the way, let me show how to access this. For example, here is my personal account. As I mentioned before, every EPAM users can log in like that and have 500 free minutes every month. You see here upgrade plan. You see here all of our plans here describe it. And yes, the last one things, our comparison page. You see here different areas, development automation and manual testing, because it's quite important to separate them. And some other, not only clouds, that's important. We mention here particular plans, self-service plans, because it's important if you really want to have a clear comparison. Again, this page is public and accessible. If you log in, it's no problem to access it. If somebody just want to discuss something, okay, we are open. Please contact us. That's no problem with that. Okay, let me just... Okay, and one of the last thing, links and contacts. You see here three person. The me, yes, I'm my current role. Also, we have two other guys, Mobitru Head and Ray, which is actually initiated this, which created, I may say, this platform 8 years ago, and now it is growing from year to year. And we have here on the slide Margarita, our customer success manager, which can answer some questions or provide more details regarding some regular things. You may, in fact, contact to any of this person because anyway, we are syncing with each other, and if necessary, we can redirect some questions from one person to other. And here is also, again, the useful links and contacts for our documentation, YouTube community, and our GitHub. Don't forget about this. Okay, question and answers. Vyacheslav, so what do we have here?
Thank you, Sergey, so much for the interesting talk. So we don't have much time for Q&A session, but let's try to have it. So, dear audience, please, if you enjoy our talk, so please scan this QR code that you can see on the screen and rate our event. And also you can give a badge to Sergey if you liked our session. And we have several questions. So let's start maybe with the ones that we received from YouTube channel. The first question is from one of our participants. Does Mobitru platform support Xcode? And Sergey, if you have a chance, would it be possible to demonstrate it?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, as I mentioned during my session, we support Xcode, connect to device, and then get them available in Xcode. Also, you can perform almost all operations in the Xcode with remote connected devices. The one more point, yes, right now we have kind of limitations because the support of iOS devices limited by maximum iOS 16, but anyway, we are working on this, and soon in one of the upcoming release, we will support for Xcode and remote debug our iOS 17 devices.
Okay, thank you for the answer, and let's proceed and move to the next question. Can we use Charles Proxy for tracking mobile calls using Mobitru devices? If yes, could you show please how to use it, or maybe share some documents to set up?
Yes, guys, we support this, and on our documentation you can find all of this info. We have even a separate page for such kind of let's call it task. So here, if you will go to developers tools, Mobitru, you will see local tunneling, and you will see a lot of info here, and the same for proxy also. So all of the information can be found here. It's not a problem. And yeah, we support this.
Okay, thank you. So I think our participants can find any links in a deck that we will share after this event, yeah?
Yeah, okay. Of course.
Cool, thank you. And move to the next question. We have 1 minute left, so I think we have enough time to answer it. Are there any special perks to measure the client-side performance on the mobile?
So we have, and actually we released this yesterday on our new release. We have 2 additional APIs, and you can find them on our API doc page. And also we have in documentation 2 more pages directly related to this. So we can capture also network traffic, HTTP requests, and we can capture performance metrics related to CPU, RAM, and FPS. And after that, you may receive them in JSON format and then use it, for example, in your reporting or for drawing some diagrams or things like that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And looks like we run out of time. So once again, Sergey, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with Mobitru platform today with us. As I mentioned, we will add the deck to the talk page along with the recording and send the notification when they are uploaded. And also, please expect our feedback form within an hour after our event. And
Yeah.
we encourage all of our participants to share your thoughts so we can make our future events more engaging. That's all I think for today. Thank you for being with us this time. Stay tuned. Join ProQuality community in our social network. Scan our QR code that you can see on the screen, and may your test always be flawless. Thank you, guys, and bye bye.
Bye.